where did that one go wrong?
I think there's a fair bit in our game that went wrong. I thought we started the game really well, and when you start off and you go 17-3 up, I think you should be able to see the game off from there, because I didn't think we'd try to shut them shop, which was something we didn't want to do, but we had opportunities. And you always know Munster are going to have opportunities. They're going to come back into the game at some point, but I'd like us to think we'd make them work harder for their opportunity as opposed to gifting them some simple opportunities. And I thought some of our game management, and I know it's a token term, was pretty frustrating to say the least.
Was it your mistakes that cost you that game, or do you have any question marks over the officiating?
There is question marks over the officiating, definitely. We'd like some explanation on some sort of no-arm tackles and consistency of high shots when you look at Rodri Jones's in the first half and then the ones at the back end of the game. But I think that'd be easy for me to go to. But ultimately, I think the things we are in total control of is ourselves. And when we've got the ball, when we've defended good sets after about 35, 36 minutes, we've got an exit line out. Do we really need to speed the game up? Do we need to get in at half-time or build a bit of field position? So I think for us, it'd be easy to go down the referee route in around certain aspects of the game, but ultimately I think there was enough in around our game today to win that game.
That no arms tackle, what did you think of that?
Yeah, what do you think of it, Mark, watching it back?
Well, you know, I thought that the guy probably should have been sent it.
Yeah, you think so, and probably a penalty try, but you just got to question the protocols and what they're looking at and how far back. They don't want to listen to players when they're asking a question, but then they are missing things. Like I don't even know whether they've looked at the no-arm tackle, so that'd be probably something that would be frustrating for us.
And what do you make of the high tackle at the end? Was just obviously, you know, as you said, the protocol was higher than Rodri James. Do you think there should be a penalty at the end?
Look, I think if Rodri's put a good shot in, I think at the end of the day it is getting borderline ridiculous when you're looking at it. But then if you go into be consistent, then that's something you just want. You could argue both of them are not high tackles the way the game's gone, but it's something I think you just want consistency, and that's something probably we didn't get tonight.
Was it that 10-minute period before half-time, as you say, about the mistakes where you only went in 2018 when perhaps you could have been more, and you say you gave them a chance to score those couple of tries before half-time?
Yeah, we did, and fair play to Munster. You know, you get them near your line, they're going to be ruthless, and I think we've done some real good stuff off our kick-off receipts. I think we're really positive in how we go about it, but I think there was just the clock. I don't know whether it freaked us out a little bit, but all we need to do is go through our position, how we've done things, how we've got out of our zones. But I thought it was a bit of a snap kick, and then we've let him in. It's bitterly disappointing in around managing that clock and the game management. You look at 17-6 to give him an easy try to get him back to 17-11, but we were still leading at half-time, and I think still at 23-18, we probably think we're going to see the game out. And I think when Sammy's cleared it and they start to play from a line out, I felt sitting in the stand we were pretty confident. But then basic principles of defending the ball in around what we do, it was a couple of lapses in concentration, and then again we've given Munster, we feel, some cheap ins, and once they get near that line then they're going to punish you, and they punished us heavily.
With the clock there, Steve, you were talking about it wasn't working in the first half, and obviously the players are used to us seeing now we're running down, perhaps weren't aware there was a minute left, you know, they might run it down and then kick the ball out. Is that what you referred to there?
No, I think obviously the clock, you'd like that to be working, but the boys are in. They were talking to Marius. They knew there was a little bit of time left, so it's something that I think it was just a couple of snap passes. Dan's under pressure and he's kicked it, and it's just something. I think it's just a little bit of composure in around what we needed to be, because I think the one probably positive, I thought we were pretty good, and I think deep down the best teams probably lost. I thought we played some really good stuff, and I think we showed physically, in particular the first 20-25 minutes, that we were hard to handle. And like I said, going 17-3 up is bitterly disappointing, but in fairness, we just couldn't break the shackles of it. Of Munster, they always kept coming back, and that's a sign of a top-class team. They just keep coming back, and we couldn't keep them out of the back end. And it's obviously a real frustrated and probably an angry changing room in the fact of we've created a lot of opportunities and we haven't seen that game off.
It's been a long time since you lost now, Steve. How did the boys react in the squad?
Yeah, we'll react positively. We've got to take the learnings. I mean, you don't like saying taking learnings from losses, but I think there are some game management learnings there in around how we can be better, and there's no let up. We've got to beat Glasgow at home next week. We've got to get a performance. We've got to learn from those mistakes because, again, I know we're sitting around how we potentially threw the game away, but I think for us to get into that sort of position, I thought we played some really good stuff and there was good pressure all around. I think there's some real good individual performances. I thought then Baker coming off the bench, obviously we were patching up a little bit, Abba's going to 15 and things, but I think there is a lot of good in around that performance, but you probably, it doesn't overshadow the feeling of sheer disappointment. Yeah, Sam's a HIA and Dan, I think we're hopeful, is a bit of a dead leg, bit of a blow in it, so we'll have to touch base with them over the next sort of 24, 48 hours.
Steve, are you still optimistic you can nail down a top 2 spot?
I think it's never been, we don't really talk about it too much, Mark. It's about performance, it's about making sure we'd love to have a top 2 spot, but ultimately we know there's some good teams around it, and you probably lose a bit of momentum when these home games were pretty big. Munster, and it would have been a chance to go top of the table and give yourself some more breathing space, but it's something that we would love to do that, but ultimately we can only get that if we perform and be a little bit smarter when we do go in front in games.
How is Keelan?
Keelan, yeah, he was just tightening up a little bit, and again, it's making sure that we don't overdo it with Keelan. We would love to kept him on, but it's not a smart thing to do. He was tightening up, and we probably knew around his working week, and at the end of the day, we're not going to put the young boy at risk playing him a little bit further.
You had 10, 12 axes. That looked quite good.
Yeah, look, I think there was a lot of good in around what we did. Yeah, 10, 12, I thought some of the back row performances were spot on, and I think there is a lot of individual performances out there that would be really pleasing, but like I said, it ain't going to mask the disappointment of losing our first home game of the season. Yes, potentially being next week. There was a lot thrown at Brian this week, and he's responded really well, and it's something that I think he'll have a 2-week block, and then we'll see and assess him how he goes probably early next week, but he's keen and ready to go for next week.